I'll just so I am now when I think about my identity, it's all linked with Tuskegee University. So after I joined as a faculty here in 2014, this is one of the largest HBCUs and a great place to be. I'm an associate professor here and in the Department of Physics. And I did my PhD from India in nonlinear dynamics. So I was basically more theoretical work plus a little bit of computational work. I worked in chaotic synchronization of nonlinear systems. That time it was quite big. And after my PhD, I joined postdoc because I saw, for me, it was always curiosity that I will talk in the next slide. So I kind of decided to change subject because I kind of heard about Dr. Andrew Rutenberg, who was at that time a faculty in Dalhousie University. But his PhD, he did his PhD from Princeton Bell. That was his place. So I saw one of his work where he was looking into bacterial cells and how a bacterial cell actually uses standing wave kind of pattern, which is very, very interesting, right? Like you think about a biological system, you don't associate waves with it. So what it does is there are some proteins inside the bacteria which oscillate end to end. And third protein actually figures out where to bind so that the bacteria can divide. So that kind of interested me. So then I joined him, did something in a little bit of bacterial. So we were looking into some stochastic processes in bacterial systems and also how large proteins transport across bacteria. So when you transfer from India to a place like this, you need an additional postdoc because my education is not here. So I did my second postdoc in immunology. That is kind of the work I'm going to present later today, along with some new work that I'm doing now. And again, where I could actually apply physics and work with some clinicians. So that is my academic thing. But when we ask the question about who I am and all, of course, your family, friends come into play. And for me, friends were books when I was very young. Now I make human friends, but a majority of my friends were books. So my parents, these are my parents, and I am a first. Actually, both of them had high school education. My father had a small shop, and my mother worked as a typist. I mean, even though they're high school, I will say she's pretty amazing because of the way she speaks English when I bring her here. It's like, okay, that's great. I didn't know my mom can do that. So that was very different. And so my family basically, and she kind of really pushed me into books, I would say, because I was a single child. Again, because we were a large combined family with a lot of responsibilities for my parents from their siblings. So we kind of, but I'm very glad that she actually introduced me to books because the boss she worked with, they had some family in United States. So I think they used to bring all this English book for their children. So my mother used to sneak, once they are done, she will bring these old books for me. And then, of course, it became a little more because I come from kind of a religious Hindu family, whereas I never felt the presence of God or whatever. So I was from a young age a very questioning and a different kind of being. So then I got my books. Books can change you both ways. So for a while, it was a lot of Kafka and philosophy. And so that was my route. Then accidentally I found a faculty. So that is one role I try to take very seriously, try to actually encourage my students because I think I never thought about physics. I never knew what math was. I mean, I was just supposed to get married and whatever we were supposed to do. But accidentally, I had a faculty where a person I was working for, he introduced me to actually Feynman lectures. But before introducing me to Feynman lectures, he gave me what do I care what other people think, Feynman's. So I started reading that first. So then you are like a person And my dream became, I didn't know that Feynman was no more. So I thought, okay, I can come to United States and see him. So I actually started pursuing physics with that goal in mind. So that's why all my friends are listed as books here. And these two are, but then I had this golden opportunity. I don't know, fate, luck, whatever, because now everything has changed, which I will explain in the last slide. So even when I was doing my PhD, I had a lot of luck, I would say, because it should be luck, because I got publications while I was working, but more than that, I could associate with some people in SPAWAR, which is the US. I don't know if you have heard about it. It's the US civilian wing for US Navy, which is in San Diego. So I had this opportunity to work with some very elegant scientists. So this is Pecora and Caroline. I never worked with them, but all my papers were based on some of their works. So they do chaotic synchronization. So this was based on their work. So that is why I found them in a conference. It was like seeing my rock stars. So that's that picture. But then comes the question of how do I feel? Because right now, for example, in this department, I'm lucky enough to have one more faculty who is a physicist. But in India, I remember whenever I go to conferences, I used to see more female colleagues, more female faculty. But after coming here, this is how I am in a conference. So if you ask me how I feel, this is exactly how I feel, out of place most of the times. Recently, I even stopped attending some of the conferences because every place is like this, and it becomes. And I'm not even talking about male-female ratio or anything, but it is the how can you connect to people, right? It doesn't have to be male or female, but you're culturally so different. This is how I feel now. And I think this kind of changed my whole perspective after coming and being in United States for 5 years. So now I would say that I was a non-believer, and I actually changed really to a questioning believer. So now I am open to other ideas. So I realized books cannot be my only friends. I started interacting with people, and I would actually nowadays, even more than a scientist, I started classifying myself in some other category like a believer. So that is where I am right now. So uh, the term questioning we can discuss later, but so that's about me. So who else wants to go now? So that's all I had as presentation. Unless you have any question, I know it's afternoon, everyone will be tired. So I thought I will start like this, and then if you have any question, we'll take it from there. So I see some more students have joined. No questions. Usually in my class, I make them ask questions, by the way. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, thank you very much for doing that. Sadesh, do you have a question? You can go ahead.
Not right now.
So, I mean, my question is sort of, I froze out a little bit, so I don't know if you had said this, but sort of what was your, why choose Tuskegee as a place?
Okay, so when I was in University of Toronto, I saw this advertisement for Tuskegee. And when I was a student, I used to learn, again, as I said, books were my friends. So I had learned quite a bit about Booker T. Washington and Carver. So there is no, I mean, so it was something so big for me, especially because when I was in India, I was a little bit engaged with this social reforms, in the sense I come from an upper caste family. So I was very, very, angry at many situations. So I was very much vocal about that. I used to be in strikes. So that was that is why I said from books you can do many things. So I think what Tuskegee has now, or even many of the HBCUs here, India still didn't have, though we don't accept it as such, because many who come out are from privileged class. For example, I know if I had the financial status of what I grew up in. We were very poor. Along with that, if I came from a lower class family, I would not be here. I know that much because the financial situation was actually counterbalanced by my caste. And I know even now I have felt it here when I go among the community, when my term Nayak, I'm not a Hindu, no one understands that. But when my name kind of strikes something, so I know that kind of gives me a little more among the Indian community, which is so exactly for that reason. When I saw Tuskegee gave me, and I was not even, I didn't think I will get the job. So when I got the job, I was excited. But of course, I thought I will go in 2 years because I never stop in one place more than 3 years. My aim was go from one place to another because I wanted to see the world also by that time. But TU is amazing. The students are amazing. As I said, that is my identity now. I consider myself as a Tuskegeean, though I didn't have my education here. So my students are great. So that is the reason I allowed to stay here. I feel like you have that feeling of being needed, and people need that. Like your students come and talk to you. They sit and talk about their personal things, and there are times you can push them, and they will allow you to push them, and they work. Once you push them, so if you show that you care, they really come back to you. So that is why Tuskegee. So that's why I don't move from here too. Like I really love this place. Yeah, not going anywhere. Yeah. So why did you guys let me okay, unless you have a question, I can start my questions. I told you I will have questions for every one of you. Why physics? That's why what I'm going to ask. And I will need answers. Why physics? Huh? Go ahead.
I was interested in geography.
Okay.
Geography, I found out that there is like whole planets out there and stuff.
Okay.
Interested in then I became interested in astrophysics.
Uh-huh.
And astrophysics, like yeah, physics.
Oh,
Now
so
it can just
okay, so your primary goal is to do astrophysics.
I'm not doing astrophysics anymore. I'm in condensed matter.
Oh, really? Okay. And that is funny because I started as an started, I had a 4-month internship where I actually worked in the Hoskote, that is like the largest telescope and the highest telescope in the Himalayas. So you can actually, so I used to be there as a student trainee, and I could meet a lot of scientists during the time. So a whole night we will sit for observation. Of course, you sit in the night for observation. And that is when I actually saw supernovae and things like that.
That observatory in Nainital?
Yeah, the one in Hanley. So the Hanley Observatory, Nainital, it's actually the on the point Hanley, and from there it's actually satellite connected to Bangalore Hoskote. So we could go too. Like so, we visit. That visit was rare, but all the connection. By the way, no one sits up there. All the scientists come to nice Bangalore comfortably, and we do it from there. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been to that observatory. It's a real nice place.
Okay, in the Hanley one or the
yeah, Hanley.
Okay, that's great actually. Yeah, it's a nice place. Yeah. So what about the others?
Yeah, I can go. I think, let's see, my dad was an aeronautical engineer. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so he worked for Boeing. Mm-hmm. So he always was very big on math. And so growing up during the summers, it would be, doing math exercise books. Mm-hmm. So from there, I think once I then got into physics in elementary or middle school, then I think I pretty much decided then and there. I think it was the 8th or 9th grade. I was like, I'm doing physics. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much it, and I've stuck with it this far.
Yeah, that means you're going on. I don't think after masters, I mean, I have not seen many who have changed after, except maybe people like Josephson. Have you heard about Josephson Junction? You should all have, right? So after, I think 22 or something, he did that theory. By 24, he went to Eastern mysticism. After that, people know nothing about him. So unless you get into that kind of a trajectory where you go spiritual, I think we are kind of stuck because it's actually kind of beautiful, especially when you combine math with physics. Yeah, who wants to go? Okay, yeah. And what is your what are you working on like during your masters? I forgot. Yeah. Do you have any research during your masters?
Yeah, so right now I'm doing research with Dr. Starkman,
Okay, yeah.
and so it's early cosmology. It's cosmology.
Cosmology, yeah. Yeah, even though I did nonlinear dynamics, my PhD boss was actually a cosmology person. VC Kuriakose, he passed away a couple of years back. So he used to, I don't know if Dr. Stockman even might have, I don't know if he came because we had this huge conference, ICGC, International Conference on Gravitation and Cosmology. I think in 2002, it was hosted in, so I was a student at that time. So yeah, many visited even from ICTP and all. We had quite a bit of visitors. I don't know. Maybe I should look up. So who's next? This is how my class goes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got into physics, let's see, when I was an undergrad, because I was a mechanical engineering major at first. And
Okay.
then, yeah, some of the things that we were learning, I wanted to know the kind of fundamentals behind it,
Okay.
scientific fundamentals. And then when I was taking freshman chemistry, we briefly went over like quantum mechanics. And I thought that was really interesting. So I decided to switch my major after that.
So you are a double major or you completely switched your major?
I completely switched my major and I was an undergrad. So,
Okay. Okay.
So then that was, a while ago now.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm doing condensed matter research now.
Okay. So it looks like most of you are either masters or postdocs because mine is basically an undergraduate university. So it's after a while, I mean, PhD, sorry, not postdoc. So mainly you are, so is that how your, the whole, our seminar will also be, or colloquia will also be, or not sure about the distribution?
It'll be every there.
It will be everybody there.
But I think mostly graduate students go.
Okay, yeah.
But actually, I don't want to put her on the spot, but Sophia is an undergrad. She's a co-president for Women in Physics and Astronomy Club.
Oh, okay, that's great. Okay. So you want to go, who want to go next? You're interested in physics. Or if any, I don't know, again, I don't want to put anyone on spot. If you want to ask me something, we can do that. But I would like to hear what you all think and anything about my research I can answer.
Well, Quinn kind of stole my question, but I will ask, who is your favorite philosopher of out of the books that you've read? Who's your
it changes with time, right? Before, for example, if someone asked me, one of the books that really touched me was, there is a talk between Jiddu Krishnamurti and David Boehme. It's one is a quantum. So that, I mean, as time goes on, things change, things you evolve. So the question that I will answer previously like that, it's very hard now, because then I will have to sometimes bring my belief into the thing, right? So then when you have changed so much in your life, so otherwise, if this question was previously, I would say, because again, even though I read quite a bit, in the end, always the kind of thought consciousness process comes from Jiddu Krishnamurti and David Bohm. That was the one that really touched me. I think you should all read that series. If you, I mean, that is a nice dialogue between a Indian philosopher and a quantum mechanist. So you should actually, a physicist, you should read that, and if possible. Then, of course, I used to read quite a bit of the, there are some talks given by Vivekananda. Again, most of them are culturally mine. So I used to read that quite a bit because my father had something from someone, like we had some of those. But now, again, I don't know. I as I said, I started opening up and reading everything, and then I read. Actually nowadays I read only Bible for that matter. So things I read are very different that I will not even think before that I will read something like that, right? So it changes. So question changes, philosophy changes, the perceiving life changes. So that kind of changes my answer with time. Anyone else interested in philosophy here since that question came to me?
I actually double majored in undergrad in physics and philosophy.
Okay, great. So I have some. So who are your philosophers? Let's hear that.
I was really into Socrates, of course, a lot of the ancient Greek philosophers, and then like Pythagoras, because I mean he's technically more like a school of thought. He wasn't a philosopher himself, but also the math that he did was really amazing. But yeah, so I thought Pythagoras was really cool because he did this idea of like the celestial spheres and harmonics, and I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, I guess if I had to choose one, it would probably be him, but I like reading a bunch of different types of philosophy. And my senior thesis was actually on understanding like the mind-body connection.
Okay. That's
And
interesting.
I forgot the name of the philosopher. I think it's Daniel Bennett. He works at Tufts, and he like believes that humans are basically just computers and we're wiring, versus the other philosopher that I wrote the paper on, how he claimed that we are more than just a body, that we have something more in us that could be equated to a soul in religious terms, or it could be something more that's like the duality of man. So I'm really interested in stuff like that too. So if you could post or write in the chat the name of the book series, that would be nice.
Yeah, maybe I will actually email you later. What about you, Jonathan? You asked me, I can see you are interested, so.
Yeah, I guess I'm interested, but I don't really know a lot. So it's just like a kind of a new interest for me. So I read, let's see, what did I just read just recently? It was Beyond Good and Evil by Nietzsche. And I thought that was a really, really good book. It's really interesting. He's a really interesting writer. And then Foucault and Derrida, just like modern guys.
Yeah, but no, I am not. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I said I'm also interested in philosophy and stuff.
And you?
Yeah, I kind of like to read about mainly epistemology, ethics, or even the other part was like philosophy of science. So, and also about some philosophy of life and stuff. Like, I like Epicurean school of thoughts, and like also Bertrand Russell. I think his books are like my favorite. In philosophy of science, I like Thomas Kuhn's that book. Yeah, I forgot the name. Okay, I'll remember it later. What was
you can chat with us.
Yeah, and there was also something else that I wanted to tell, but I forgot. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, I think as time goes on, the same thing. Recently I was trying to read again Metamorphosis by Kafka, and I'm like, I cannot imagine that I enjoyed it when I was young. I mean, I still kind of, I mean, it's great, but I cannot, sometimes when you look back, and that is happening even when I was preparing talks, or when you look back, you sometimes change so much. I don't know if it happens to everyone though. So it should, right? Yeah, because when you look back and see so much has changed, so much difference has come. Sometimes I even think, oh, did I do that calculation really? And then okay, I should have, because it's in my notebook. So that can also happen, because here mainly we have it's a service department, so things are not like what you have. So that kind of affects everything when it comes to research.
Sure. How does that affect research, or what does that mean, like a service department?
So because physics department as such, we don't have a graduate program. So when you don't have master's students, so that means we have a small undergraduate program. We have around, I was looking into the statistics recently. We have around 8 to 9 undergraduate students. Out of that, only 2 or 3 will be pure physics majors. But still, and the funny thing is now when I was looking in NSF statistics to figure out minority students, because that is my current focus to go to schools here and try to get students to physics, because everyone seems to be scared of physics. Many comes for biology, but not for physics. Biology and chemistry has quite a bit. So if you look at the statistics, for example, I think 2017 National Science Foundation data, only 3.1% of total physics undergraduates are African Americans, and out of that, only 0.8 are women. Not out of that, in total, only 0.8% is women. And of course, women already are less represented, I think, in the United States, around 18%. So, I mean, considering that number, our department is a major contributor, like 3 students per year is big. But again, so service means then I basically teach engineering students. So I mean, the major is different, and it's introductory level. So we don't teach, we don't get to, like, some students join later because of the way we interact. But when you teach an introductory level physics, you don't get that chance to actually show them, like, the beauty of quantum mechanics or anything like that, right? So for example, you said you took a chemistry class, you felt this and you wanted to do it. I don't know if all of them are getting there somehow. Yeah, it's very hard to catch students to physics here, which should be the opposite way actually. So that is one of the biggest challenge, I think, for physics department now. We were kind of starting some outreach, but then COVID, we were all new faculty, who a few of us joined, and first 2-3 years you are trying to flow, and once you are in the steady flow, you kind of, but then COVID came. So all our plans, we were planning to go to high schools and all, but by the time COVID hit, so we are really looking forward for next semester to actually start going out and bringing more kids in. So that's the biggest challenge. And yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
How many students are in your department total?
That's what in total altogether around 11-12 students.
Wow.
So research becomes really, so how I do my research is, that's why it's like only recently I started working with another, it was very hard to even collaborate. So now I started working back in something regarding health disparities and how using some computational techniques to study that. But basically what I was doing is I was collaborating with faculty in mechanical engineering. He has a good lab where they're looking into fluid dynamics. So his aim is to look in fluid mixing. By the way, don't looking at the number of students, don't most of our faculty are well into research. We bring quite a bit of fund, so we do our best, and it's actually, biology and chemistry, for example, they have a big student cohort, so that is different, and mechanical engineering the same. So we still write proposals, we bring funds, we do our research. So here what we are looking is to model, like looking into some fluid dynamics mixing data from a high speed camera. So we have a PIV setting and PLIF, and from that data we try to come back and talk about maybe some attractors and talk about the dynamics of the system. Yes. So yes, number of students are less. And I think out of the two, not I think, 2 are girls, other are around 9 boys, so around 11 only. Yeah, 11. Yeah. But we have 2 new faculty who joined us. One is from Los Alamos National Lab. I'm hoping all these new faculty will start bringing new students in. Yeah, it's a challenge, and I think one part is you have to see and perceive as our own, they say, that's quite important. So now I have started introducing that into my teaching methodologies. So I started using examples of, people, like, I do my research and introduce people who looks like us. That is important, and I see that for students that makes a big difference. And I also create virtual reality modules because I am the director of the virtual reality center here. So I have some students working creating modules for me. So I tell them, like, make all the characters someone you can relate to. So it's just a process, and there are many, so we can use those examples. So that is my current work. Like, I'm mainly focusing on redoing all the problems using examples instead, because I remember when I did my physics, they used to have examples about skiing and all. And in my life, I don't even know what skiing is. So how do I sense what skiing is, right? So it's very relevant, and I understand that. And I also understand the difference between male and female communication, because I mean, people might say that is not relevant, but I feel it is, because I have realized, like, once I talk to my girls, I have seen there is a difference. And sometimes with my guy students, I have to do in a different way, because otherwise they will feel it's too simple. But the issue is, it's not how I talk. So those kind of things, you might sense it if you try talking to children, maybe not too young, because then they don't have that differentiation. Maybe you should try talking to maybe 15-year-old boys and girls, you will understand the difference. But at the same time, by just changing your tone, you can make them very much interested. So those are some of my main focus now, like how to have more students take physics. So I think my next couple of years will be for that. I'm trying to drag biology students to physics. Yeah. And what about how is the ratio there? Like faculty, I think I kind of have a quick look. Students, faculty, how is the ratio, male, female, uh, majority, minority, since this is a minority group?
I don't know. I think because I don't know if the faculty knows too well either, because with the pandemic, I think a lot of people have just like flown
Yeah.
under the radar, and there really hasn't been, nobody has come to campus, so they haven't really seen anybody, and so I have no idea what the ratios are. I mean, it's also only my second year, and actually I think for all of us except for Aisha, this is our second year as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I honestly have no idea.
I know.
I think Harsh definitely has like a sheet with the demographics for undergrads. For graduate students, I mean, there's probably about 40 graduate students, and I think maybe 20% are women, and then maybe 10% are underrepresented.
Okay.
Around those numbers, I would say.
Okay. You should actually look. It's kind of interesting. I mean, once in a while, you should go National Science Foundation, statistics, undergraduate, graduate, and look at the numbers. It's quite interesting. Like you get the difference between different fields of science. And the funny thing is, if you look at the pay scale, I think right now, other than computer science, physics undergrad gets paid the most, because it's so scarce in United States. Yeah, that is one thing I show as my chart. Because it's hard to get. I know, like, majority of my friends in San Diego and all, they're always looking for good physics undergraduates, because they want them right after undergraduate. So they take them for internship, then they just train, and if they like them, they send them to master's program later. It's very hard to come by. And I think here it's much less. I was surprised at the number. I think physics altogether is much less than chemistry, biology. If you look at the total number of students getting undergraduate degree every year, it's really a big discrepancy there. Yeah, so you all have a lot to look forward for. What else?
So, you can go,
sorry,
Jill.
you go, Aisha. You go.
Okay.
I've talked too much.
So I kind of wanted to go back to, you were talking about how you feel like very comfortable at the university that you work at, in terms of like the people around you, like you just feel like you fit in really well. Have you always kind of felt like that, or is this like the first place where you found that environment?
No, that is why I never used to. For example, I mean, maybe I did. I kind of float with the go with the flow, but I don't think I have felt this like a chameleon. I change color, but this place has something more to it. That much I know. This I have not felt anywhere else, because otherwise, if you come to TU is a very small town, so coming from University of Toronto, it was a big different. But you know, the way students want to learn, some students especially, that really I think kind of motivates and keeps you more than fitting in. That motivation keeps you going. It's like your, you know, the food for. So I know research might be different somewhere else, but here also now I know I just focused on the wrong things like committee and all initially. Now I'm focusing back on research, and I can see the flow is very fast. So yes, here I fit, but many places I used to feel actually I do not fit. That was my last slide, that slide, because everywhere I go, I felt like the person out rather than the person that was in the group. On the other hand, that was not because of the way they responded or anything. None of my colleagues ever um, like, you know, they treated me wrong or treated me as a woman or anything. But yes, there were times I had to push myself through, because I always noticed compared to when I was a postdoc, I realized that when I say, especially I was a little more meek at that time because I just came in from India and I had that real cultural difference at that time. I still do, but that was very, oh, like, you know, I will shake my head. I had everything that was typical of an Indian that they do in caricature. But there were times I had to push more than undergraduate or master's student to make my voice clear, and that was very insulting at times to me. But I'm glad there was like my Andrew, my professor, he told me you have to push back till you learn to push back, they are going to push you. And this happened even in research meetings when I was in Toronto again. Sometimes you say a thing, you are like, you know, you say it in a very soft, nice way. They think I'm not being authoritative. And later, I still remember it was about center limit theorem, something we were discussing, and I'm saying the same thing. 10 minutes later, one undergraduate master student, he says, and then everyone's going to the board, and I'm like, I just told you that. So that kind of, and it might not be even me, you know, it might not be because I'm a female, maybe it's the way of expression. So there were many places that I really felt uncomfortable. And as I said, when you go to a meeting and there is 55 men and it's just one you, it is really hard. It was hard for me. Maybe some people might be okay with it, but for me, it was really hard. Even going out in the evenings, for me, it was all a like, you know, I had to really put effort. And then you go forward. But on the other hand, people were really nice to me, especially because when you are that one person, they're very kind, because they are very older. I'm very young at that time, like, you know, 5-6 years back. So they kind of treat you nicely. But yeah, you don't feel, at least I didn't feel fit. I was not fitting in. I had to really do it. And I think that is one reason I stick here, because in one sense, I see more females in every, except physics for that matter, and engineering maybe. But I have a lot of people that I can associate with. And as I said, you know, you can replace your books friends with real friends. So that was really good after coming here. So, and people are kind everywhere, that I noticed, but here it's a little more. Yeah. How do you all feel? Like, do you feel fit in when you go to a meeting? Especially, what is your field, by the way?
I work in theoretical biophysics, and we also
Okay.
do some computational stuff. Right now my lab is like probably 50% men, including my PI.
Okay.
But usually whenever I meet with everybody, because it's just like all men. But my PI is pretty good about like listening to my ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes we meet with our collaborators and I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
like, you know, ignored the whole time.
You have to learn to speak up though. Like, that is pretty
Yeah.
important, because it's very easy to, yeah, you have to learn to speak up. Uh, you have to make your voice heard, especially for all of us. So that's what I later realized. Like I have to make my voice heard because I got this chance. I know many of my friends were much better than me in math and all when I was young. So my journey was different. So yeah, but at least biological physics you will get. So that is one good thing. Like once I got into all my presentation mostly was in nonlinear dynamics as such. So that pictures I showed you was mainly when I was working in. It was here, but even when I was doing biophysics, I still used to have my research in chaotic synchronization. At least biophysics, when I started to go, at least I started getting a little more, bit more female presence was there, which is relaxing. But again, if you come to India, you will see you should go for one conference in India. I'm not joking. Go there. Math, physics, any topic you choose, you go there. You will feel you will have more female representation. You will have more. I really don't know how. Of course, even then we are less, but I don't think it is as less as this. But not, I don't think I had so many people we used to meet when we go. But here it's so different. It will change. It's changing. People are acknowledging it. It's changing. And I think the school system had a lot to do with it because schools, I can see when my friends' children, the focus is different. So we have to refocus it to science, and it's okay to do science for girls, and it's okay for boys to do something else. So I think that's when, yeah, I think that cool factor should go. And it's very surprising science is not cool here, right? In the school system, how can science not be cool? So.
It's cool at our university. Don't worry.
No, I'm saying school, like school. By school, I meant the little children. I think by the time you come university, I think we are all ready to take, and we are very different. But I'm talking about till high school. Somehow it's not very cool. That's what they tell me. They don't want to be classified or something. So I'm not sure because I didn't get it here, so I'm not really sure about it.
I guess it was the same for me in India. Like it wasn't that cool. Like science.
No.
Cool.
No. For us, at least in Kerala, where I come from,
Kerala is different.
Kerala is different. Yeah, see, Kerala. The reason is Kerala had a communist plus another government, so they will keep changing. So we had a big communist influence in Kerala. So Kerala was a little different. So school science was, and if you knew science or math, you were kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, Kerala is the most literate state in India, so it's obviously different. Other states, not so much.
Yeah, I have only experienced there and a little bit in Chennai. I was in IIT Madras for a while. Okay, I think I should let you all go. I know it's so tiring. Or any other question? Evelyn, I didn't even see you till now. I think I should have had gallery view, then I could at least see everyone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, I came in a bit late because my class ran a bit over time. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming and talking.
So I hope to see some of you in the talk. Last question, otherwise I'll be done in 35 minutes and I'll be gone saying bye. Yeah, but I do hope something comes out of it. Maybe one of you can give a talk for our students here. I would prefer actually students giving talk for students. Let me know if anyone's interested, we can have some faculty, some students. It will be great experience for our students. We have our Society of Physics students. I will ask if I don't want to force any of you, but if any one of you are willing even to come and share some ideas with them, give them a motivation. If you are willing, I will arrange. It can, if you don't want it to be too much of a time constraint, I can make it like a 20 minutes in my lecture or even a side time where I can get more students come. So please let me know, okay? I really would appreciate if a couple of you will come and motivate my students, my girls and my boys, so to take physics.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great, yeah, please. If you say it's a good idea, you are volunteering, okay? I will find your email, hunt you down this, yeah, it would be great actually if you could really do it. Seriously, yeah.
I was also going to mention that there is a bridge program at Case Western, and I know that the bridge program is starting to grow more enormously for students. And I guess it's been taken in by iGen, so it's not just for physics. Now it's also math, chemistry, and astronomy. So that's also a good resource for your students to have if they want to continue on in graduate school.
Yeah, I will look into that. Thanks for that, because yeah, that'll be great. I know engineering does something, but as I said, because I think we were so small, we never really did that kind of outreach, especially except when I'm in my classroom. All of us try to, bring one or two, and out of that, maybe a couple comes and then we lose some with time. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, but I really look forward to your email telling me that you want to talk to my students. So let's see, okay? Please do. It'll be good for you also, right? You get to talk to someone from Deep South. So please do, okay? Any other comments or bye? See you in
Thank
half
you.
an hour.
Oh, I wanted to ask, what was the book that you recommended about the conversation between an Indian philosopher and something about quantum
It's
mechanics?
Jiddu Krishnamurti. Let me just find it for you.
Thank you.
It's because I was part of this foundation. Just because of this, you can just go and look in this foundation. Again, as I said, this was all my past. So this is the foundation. So here actually they have a lot of schools in India, the Krishnamurti Foundation schools. What they do is, they don't teach, they let the students choose what they want to do. They have a curriculum, but the students just live there. Not evenings, I'm saying they just live their life. So there are some, so especially students with ADHD, if you have attention deficiency anyway, they don't force you to do things you don't want to. So they are into that holistic view, and I think there are a few like this. If you're interested, I can send you more. So if you look into this, this particular talk is what I was saying, but there are quite a bit of articles. I used to get their monthly subscription I had, so regularly something every month it will come in. So the one I talked about is the between Krishnamurti and Baum. So just have a look at it. Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to your talk later.
I'm looking to see you all too. At least I know some familiar faces. Turn on the video, okay? At least in the beginning. Bye. See you all.
Bye.
Thank you.